Hi everyone, welcome back into my channel. Happy New Year if you're watching this in the new year, which you likely are. Hope you all had a safe and wonderful holidays, and welcome into 2026. Welcome into the channel if you're new. My name is Rebecca. I'm a 30-year-old mum here in Australia, in WA specifically. On the channel I do videos like this one, personal finance, but I also touch on, my motherhood journey as a disabled woman with a disabled child, and I also cover my own disability journey. So if you like what you see, hit subscribe and let's get into today's video. So today's video is going to be the last monthly reset of 2025. Now I am filming this like towards the end of December, so it's still 2025 for me currently, but you'll be seeing this on the 1st. So let's get into the final reset of 2025. Let's go. Okay, hi, we are here in the last monthly reset for 2025, at least the ones that I've done. I think I've done maybe 4 months of actually filming a thing. I've been tracking since July, but I've actually been trying to implement better financial strategies since filming. Now, I'm not perfect. This month, peak example of not being perfect. There is just so much. I don't know why it says $826 left to spend. No idea why it says that. I'm still learning this spreadsheet, by the way. Not going to be perfect. There will be mistakes, but you know what? You live and you learn, don't you? So, my total income that I earned was $2,420.60. That's the average at this point in time. So I, expected, and I got what I expected. Board, all the same. Everything's all the same. The only thing that has actually changed now is Booper. So my plan was I'll get into the budget in a second for January, but my original plan was to set aside $105 because my total amount was $208 per quarterly, but that wasn't due to February, so my plan was to split it and set that amount aside for the 2 paychecks in January, if that makes sense, so that it was all ready for February. However, I had a company call me and say, hey, we are like a company that goes through all types of insurance companies here in Australia based on what you like, based on your membership, what you have, who you're with, and we go through and try and find your best, the best value for money type of thing. And they were able to find it. So unfortunately though, the first payment is on the 2nd of January and we don't get paid till the 8th. I took it out of this recent pay, so that means I'll have to put that back in at my next pay, which is fine. But now it's actually less, so it's $185, I think it's like exactly $184 something, but I just rounded up. So $185 towards, it's not Booper, it's another company, but it's $185 I've set aside to that, so that will come out in January. And your medications, now my plan was $130, right? No, I ended up spending an extra $72. Now this is actually for my daughter. She is now on melatonin, and the reason why it was $72 was because she is peg fed. Well, she has a peg. She's not as much peg fed now as she used to be, but we only really use her peg for medications like this. Now originally we were just going to get the tablet form of melatonin. She's always struggled with her sleep, and we were just at our wits' end, and a very, very close family friend of mine suggested, like, hey, try melatonin. That might be your last option. I was like, you know what, I'll try anything. We'll literally try anything. So we went to our GP, and it was like, yep, she's the right age. I'll give you 2 different scripts, one for a tablet form. The only thing with the tablet form is if you did crush it, like we would have had to do to put it through her peg, the effect of having the slow release from the tablet would not be effective. He said, I'll also give you a script for the liquid form. And we have, unfortunately, kind of weirdly, we had to get the liquid form. So yes, it was $72, which is a lot of money. Based on very, very basic math that my partner did, we should get roughly 6 months use out of it, which is well worth the $72. We are on week 3 as of filming this, and she has definitely taken to it. She's had some of the best sleep in her life, and we've had some of the best sleep in our life, so we're getting there. She's had a couple of bad nights, but that's with anything, right? There is give and take to everything. But it's definitely working, thank God. So, yeah, so that's where that came from. I do have to add about $25, I would say, as yesterday we did end up going to a little cafe. We did end up going to a cafe yesterday for gift exchange with family. So groceries, an extra $19, that's not too bad. Shopping, $80, not great. I'll get into what that is in and the tracking. $242 in therapy, that's fine. $44 on gaming. Could have been better, could have not spent anything. But, you know, gifts and home, nothing. Moving over to emergency fund now. I planned to put just over $1,000 in. I didn't. I managed to. I now have about $730 in there, which not ideal, but I guess it's better than nothing. So, sinking funds, I planned to put 50 in there. Nothing. Shopping, I had no budget. I spent $80. Christmas, I had 100 in there. I've got nothing now. Obviously, we had Christmas. I've spent that. Takeaway. Budgeted for nothing, $190, almost $200 in takeaway. That is horrendous. That definitely needs tuning coming into 2026. That is honestly horrifying. It's not my worst month, shockingly. It's not my worst month, but it's definitely one that I've tracked very closely, and I've been like, oh, okay. That definitely needs tuning. That needs readjusting 1000%. I'm not proud of this whatsoever. Clothes, I spent $152. Some of that was for my daughter for school, but the rest of that was for me. Again, not my proudest moment, but again, going into January into 2026, I do have a separate video on 2026 in general, my goals, but this is just monthly reset, but I will be fine tuning that next year as well. Car, I planned to put $300 in, didn't obviously. Investing, I had planned to put $200 in, didn't. My original goal for 2026 was to start investing, but my thing is I'm just not financially set up right now if an emergency would happen. So I definitely need to focus on that. Even if I can squeeze in like $50 here and there, I think that's okay. That's better than nothing. But it's definitely not going to be a consistent thing until I have my emergency funds fully funded and set up, and I'm comfortable with that. So I was actually gonna again start putting into my student loans, but then I was like, oh, actually I'm gonna, instead of putting what I wanted to in student loans, I'm gonna put it into investing. And I thought, well, hang on, I actually need to bulk up my savings first, so let's switch that. Put what I was gonna put into investing into savings. Now technically some would say like you'd be better off putting that $200 into investing, which mathematically yes, but if an emergency was to happen, I can't pull that money back out. Once it's invested, it's gone. So, and same with my student loans, once that's in, it's gone. I can't get it back out. So, and based on what I earn right now, it's just not, to me in my head, it's just not the best move to make at this point. Again, with investing $50 here and there, it's fine. But other than that, I'm not going to focus on my student loans this year. And that's fine. In the beginning, I had a problem with it. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, I really need to set my family up as much as I can personally. Centrelink loans, I won't have any this year, this coming year. Afterpay, same. And I did speak more about Afterpay and like, you know, Klarna and ZipPay and stuff like that. I've never used Klarna, but ZipPay and Afterpay I have known to use in the past, especially this year. But yeah, I did talk more about that in my 2026 video. Now, the one thing that did change quite a bit was subscriptions. So my plan, again, if you remember, was to not have any subscriptions whatsoever, except for YouTube Premium, that's it. Well, that ended up being a bit more. So, YouTube Premium, $17 ended up being $27. $10 was for a movie that I bought on YouTube. You'll be thinking, girl, what the fuck? There's like so many streaming services. Carl Barron is not on streaming services, unfortunately. And I've been to a few of his shows here in Perth, so my cousin and I both really like his stuff. He's hilarious. So he had a new special come out. I was like, I'll buy it. And then the $6 was for a membership, a YouTube membership with Aphrodite. So moving forward, the YouTube Premium and possibly Aphrodite's membership will stay the same. I kind of go on and off with memberships. Another brief membership that I bought for $10 was Blake McLean. He's also on YouTube, but he has a Patreon, and he was watching the Taylor Swift documentary. And I was like, this is probably cheaper than getting Disney Plus, even though I ended up getting Disney Plus again anyway. My brain is not, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, okay? I am very impulsive with money, and that's something that, again, I talked about in the 2026 reset that I want to work on, is my impulse buying and my impulsivity, because I do not make the smartest choices, as you can tell by the nearly $200 worth of takeaway this month. Patreon was out, I've already cancelled it, so I know it won't come out again $16 that will, again, I might go on and off with it, but that is going to be a recurring thing. So I budgeted for that and for YouTube Premium for the next month. So we have $100 to investing. I did invest $100 this month, so let me actually update that. So yeah, there's the YouTube Premium, the groceries, what else do we have here? Here's where the takeaway really started. And then the Upbeat Essentials, which was for, it's basically like kind of like Epidemic Sound but much cheaper. Subscriptions are kind of tricky, especially monthly ones, because I definitely do see myself from just past stuff and in the future just constantly like, oh, let me take that off for this month and then re-adding it. So that will definitely be like this coming month in January, it's not on there. It's just gonna be one of those things, isn't it? There's the medication. I did end up spending a little bit extra on Christmas than what I'd budgeted as well. That's where that sort of shopping came into as well, which again, going into next year, like my partner and I sat down, okay, you know, going into next Christmas, I know we've like just finished this Christmas, but looking forward to 2026, you know, going into the Christmas budget, and my partner and I sitting down and going, okay, what did we spend and what do we actually need to budget for next year? Let's have it saved together by, you know, middle of the year, June, July, or even earlier if we can, just so we don't have to worry about it. It's set, it's ready to go. We know what we spend or what we will be spending plus a little extra. And then there's that extra $15 I was just telling you about before with yesterday's little outing. So that's it. That's for, you know, the end of 2025. Let's have a look at this one to end off this monthly reset, and then we'll get into the January reset. So, okay, so savings, I had 46% of savings, which is the majority, which is good. 26% of bills, subscriptions at 3.7%, and then expenses 24%. So overall, even though to me in my head, like especially the takeaway, like it feels really, really bad, overall I'm still managing to save a lot more than I am spending. But that's still not to say that that's healthy to do, you know, especially not the savings, but the amount of spending, especially with takeaway. It's not good financially, and it's not good for my body. I want to try my absolute hardest to do a very low spend. I'm not going to do a no spend because that's just unrealistic, but a lower spend year, and I'll be able to actually properly track it. Fingers crossed. I'm probably going to have months where I'm not good. You know, I think that's kind of the ebb and flow of life. Okay, 2026. I first want to start off with this savings and debt tracker. Obviously I don't have any debt at this point. Well, I do, but I'm not actively paying it off. Savings, however, this is kind of my goal. For the majority of the year. This is probably going to take me most of the year to do all of this. Maybe a little less depending on how hard I crack at it. So I've got $3,000 in emergency funds. That's how much. This is like my goal, right? So I don't obviously have it right now. $500 for Christmas. $2,000 for home or clothes. And again, these are probably things that I'm going to put money into and then spend it. So that's kind of my goal overall. I don't think I'll be spending that much, but who knows. I say that every month and then I end up spending it. But I mean, compared to this year in 2025, this is when I'm filming this, compared to this year I definitely spent way more than $2,000 on clothes and home stuff. So I'm hoping to lower that for next year, specifically going into more like marketplace and op shopping and stuff like that. Like this chest of drawers behind me with the mirror, like I got that on marketplace. Car, I want to have $2,000 in there just for car. I want to have $2,000 in there. Mostly, well, $500 is for the rego for the year, and the rest is any sort of maintenance for the car. So hopefully that's a good buffer to start with. EMBR, that's just left blank because I will be putting into that. I don't really have a goal for that because I don't know how much I'm going to have in there. Subscriptions, I'm hoping $500 roughly. That's more so for like yearly subscriptions that I have, but again they may change depending on if I keep some or if I, you know, yeah, just depends on that. And then baby E, my daughter, about $1,000. That's again going into, she'll be going into kindy next year, so that'll be, you know, school supplies, any sort of school voluntary payments, swimming lessons, anything for that, birthday as well. Christmas is separate, but for her birthday as well, that'll be in that budget. So yeah, that's kind of where my savings goals are at for 2026. And let's go to January. I was expecting the regular payment of $1,210.30, but I've since looked and I'm actually going to be getting an extra $18.94, so woohoo, thanks Centrelink. I'll take what I can get, honestly, with Centrelink, and I don't know if that will change. I'm assuming it will. I'm hoping it will go back to the regular amount, but for now that's where it's at. My board, food and everything, that's staying the same with phone bill. That's already going to be coming out, so that's essentially set aside already. And then same with the term life insurance. So obviously medications are the same. Hopefully I don't have to change that too much for this month. My therapy $484, I don't know why it has the difference there, because it's the exact same amount. I don't know. Gaming, I'm hoping to not spend anything, although I said that last month and here we are. We'll see. Home, nothing. Gifts, I am going to be putting 100 in there for gifts. Christmas I won't put anything into, probably not till February, sort of March is when I'll start putting into Christmas. Again, for next year, car is the same, MDR, that's as it comes. $40 subscriptions, that's for monthly subscriptions, that's what I'll just set aside at the beginning of the month, just so it's there, ready to go. I've also got as many subscriptions as I can set up so it comes out on the same card, because I have a bills card and then I have with my phone bill and my insurances and stuff, and then I have my regular debit card, and then I'll be able to put $250 into my baby girl. So, and a lot of that will probably go towards her school book list and voluntary fees and swimming lessons and stuff like that. So that'll be a decent chunk, and then the next month hopefully I'll be able to set aside for her birthday, which is in March. So that's where that's at. And then debt, I'm not going to be paying anything towards. And then so this is where the newer stuff. So YouTube Premium $23, that may change again if I decide to stick, because I find with the memberships it's very month on month off type of scenario. So I'm keeping that there for now just in case I do, then I've got the money there. And then $15.99, but I just rounded up to $16, so that's fine. And then I've also already put in there like what I will be putting towards out of my budget, and then any extra little payments that I make, for example, like I'm setting aside $35.24, which is essentially what I have left after everything else, into shopping, so that and shopping can be takeaway or just anything, any little knickknacks. $35 isn't very much, I know that, but I am gonna really try and stick with that. Okay, I'm gonna really try. Whereas I think and then $28 for the next shopping, so I've left a gap for any little extra spending that happens throughout the month, but for the most part I'm hoping this will stay the same. We'll see. That is my budget for January 2026, and those are kind of my goals as well for 2026. Let's do it. This is a new year, new financial freedom time, just in general, like now is the time to do it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that here. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.